We're ready to start the meeting. Chair
Okay,
Perrello.
thank you very much, Madam Clerk. I'd like to call the meeting to order for the Oxnard City Council Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting. The time is 8:33. The council in the council chamber. We're doing this in a Zoom meeting. I'll read the Zoom comment. This meeting is held pursuant to the State Emergency Services Act and the Governor's Emergency Declaration and the Governor's Executive Order N-29-20 to allow members of the City Council or staff to participate via teleconference. Pursuant to the Ventura County Public Health Officials Order and Governor's Executive Order N-33-20, all city buildings are temporarily closed to the public. The public is encouraged to view the meetings from home on the city's website at oxnard.org/city-meetings, or Spectrum Channel 10, or Frontier Channel 35, or YouTube at youtube.com/Oxnard News. Video recordings are typically available online immediately following the meetings. Please see the link in the Measure M pre-recorded presentation video for each agenda item below. The public may provide comments to the City Council via email at cityclerk@oxnard.org no later than 12 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Please identify the committee name, meeting date, and agenda item in the email subject line. A telephone option for public comments is also available at this time due to the State of California stay-at-home order. Requests to speak must be submitted no later than 12 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Use the form on the city's website to submit your requests. Oxnard.org/city-meetings, or call the city clerk's office at 805-385-7803, or email your request to cityclerk@oxnard.org. The city has filed pre-election and post-election lawsuits regarding the validity of Measure M. The judge has not yet ruled on the legal sufficiency of Measure M. Madam Clerk, can we take the roll call, please?
Councilmember Perrello.
Yes.
Councilmember Lopez.
Here.
Mayor Zaragoza.
Yes.
Thank you.
The posting of the agenda are there any questions with reposting of the agenda?
No questions.
Okay, I've asked Mr. Early, our newest city attorney, to lead in the flag salute, and if we can lead in the flag salute and take a moment of silence for the police officer that was killed in Washington, D.C. But we have also lost a member of our city Public Works Department with COVID. And please keep that in your minds. This is serious, ladies and gentlemen. And can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Thank you, Chair, members of the committee. Everyone can please rise, place your hands over your heart and face the nearest flag. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have public comments on items not on the agenda?
No, we do have, however, we do have public comment on item B1 and item B2 on the agenda.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving to the consent agenda, the approval of the minutes. And have we had an opportunity to review the minutes, and do we have a motion with respect to direction the committee wishes to take?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second that. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Perrello.
Yes.
Councilmember Lopez.
Yes.
Mayor Zaragoza.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you. Moving on to the first item under reports, D1. Public Works Department, and the subject is approval of Fourth Amendment with NBS Government Finance Group for Assessment District Consulting Services. And if we can have staff read the recommendation, please.
Good evening, Chair, members of the committee, Adam Smith. The recommendation is for the Public Works and Transportation Committee to recommend that the City Council authorize the city manager to execute the Fourth Amendment to Agreement Number A7950 with MBS Government Finance Group in the amount of $113,000 for a total not to exceed amount of $1,123,765.42 to provide construction cost reimbursement and consulting services for Communities Facilities District number 2018-01 Wagon Wheel, and 2, approve a budget appropriation to recognize the developer's fund deposits and expenditures for $113,000 from the Wagon Wheel Community Facility District 2018-01 fund.
Ladies and gentlemen, because of the Measure M that was approved, if the presentations are pre-recorded, I did not vote for Measure M. I'm on a grandstand on that one, and I think it's a ridiculous method, but that's what the voters requested. So if we have any questions on the item or public speakers, please go ahead. Any public speakers,
Sure.
Madam?
Chair Perillo,
Yes, do we have a public speaker on this
we
matter?
have a public speaker. However, this was actually for an item not on the agenda, but she's available to speak now.
For an item not on the agenda. Okay, I want a clarification from the city attorney, please. Do we wait?
I would recommend completing the item and then maybe going back and calling on that speaker for the non-agenda item.
All right, thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Okay. Are there comments from the committee members on this item?
Nope,
No comments.
no comment.
Okay, do I have a recommendation?
So move.
Second.
Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Perillo,
Yes.
Councilmember Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Zaragoza.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next item, Public Works Department Report, item D2. The subject, agreement with Waste Management of California Incorporated for solid waste disposal. We can have the staff read the recommendation. And again, I'll state it again because you can click on to the pre-recorded presentation, but there is no presentation pre-recorded for this event per the voters' direction at the most recent election. So can we have staff read the recommendation, please?
Mr. Chair, this is the city manager. If I can cut in here.
Yes, please go ahead, Mr. Nguyen.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chair and members of the committee, I'm actually going to recommend that we continue this item to a future Public Works and Transportation Committee, most likely in the month of February, next month. Earlier today, we received a long letter from the Ventura Regional Sanitation District that we need time to address and be able to give the committee and then eventually the council full responses to the letter they sent us today. There's just no way we could do that between late this morning and tonight. So again, recommendation is to continue this to a future committee meeting, most likely in February.
Okay, I'll take that into consideration, and I need to, and I omitted, I sit as the representative for the city of Oxnard on the Ventura Regional Sanitation District, and I am the current past chair of that organization. I forgot to say that. I should have said at the very beginning of this meeting. Do we have speakers that are going to speak on this, or do we want to take a motion and carry with the consideration to move it forward to a future agenda item?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to continue this item for a future date, potentially in February.
Second.
Okay. Madam Chair, Madam Clerk, will you take a roll call unless the speakers wish to speak?
We do have one speaker that's holding for this particular item, D2, and we still have the additional public speaker also on hold.
Okay, when we're done with this item, we'll take the additional public speaker in between this item and the next item. But let's give this the individual requesting to speak an opportunity to speak.
Thank you.
Uh,
Can you identify him, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Chris Thiessen. Mr. Thiessen? You're on mute. Please unmute yourself. Thank you. You have 3 minutes.
Yes, thank you very much. What I'd like to do is a good evening, Chair Perrello, members of the Public Works and Transportation Committee. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I would like to request, would you like me to speak tonight, or would you like me to wait until this item is continued to another meeting? I have some comments that I was going to read tonight, but they are essentially relating for the committee and the members of the public who may be watching this meeting about our letter, which is, I believe now, is a matter of public record. And I'm perfectly okay with waiting until the following meeting to make my statements.
Well, you put a speaker card in and I give you the opportunity. It's up your call, sir.
So I'm in terms of a point of order, I'm happy to make these comments, but I'm like I said, it's my understanding the item's being continued, but I'll make a comment today and then perhaps I'll be back at the next meeting.
Well,
So thank you for the opportunity.
Mr. Tyson, technically the item has not been voted on to continue, but there was a speaker card and your name was called and we're giving you the opportunity to speak, and then we'll take a vote.
He doesn't have to.
Yes, sir. Of course, my intent was that this item was to be heard this evening, and that's my intent of speaking in front of the item. I'm perfectly okay with waiting with my comments when this item is actually heard.
Well, it's the second time I'm giving you the choice. It's your choice. If you want to speak tonight, speak. If you want to wait to the next item, that's up to you, but you got to make up your mind.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and make my statement then, and then we'll take it from there. So my reason for addressing the committee tonight on this agenda item is to ensure the committee received VRSD's comment letter of today regarding this item. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. I'm Chris Tyson, General Manager of the Ventura Regional Sanitation District, the operators of the Toland Road landfill. VRSD comment letter provides information that we think the committee should consider prior to recommending that the City Council approve the subject contract with Waste Management of California Incorporated. While I certainly won't attempt to read the whole letter, I would like to read the main points of the letter for the benefit of the committee and also for anyone who is watching. I will say the 7 points that we covered in the letter, and here are the 7 points. Number 1, the evaluation of RFP proposals should consider transportation cost as part of the total cost to the city. Item number 2, the agenda report does not disclose that disposal of the city's waste at Toland Road landfill is the environmentally superior alternative when compared to Simi Valley landfill. Item number 3, a city commitment to dispose 100% of the city's waste at the Simi Valley landfill may violate the California Environmental Quality Act, known as CEQA. Number 4, the city may be foregoing the opportunity to realize significant savings that would result from contracting with VRSD for any waste amount above the 50-50 split with Waste Management. Item number 5, the recommended action, if approved, will negatively impact VRSD's ability to supply solid waste and water and wastewater services to Ventura County residents. Item number 7, the recommended action, if approved, will negatively
seconds.
impact VRSD's ability to fund all landfill closure and post-closure activities for which it is responsible. Item number 7, a decision by the city to cease using VRSD's Toland Road landfill for disposal of its municipal solid waste may constitute a breach of contract. You will notice that several of the main points of the letter seem to have a regional tone to them. VRSD, after all, is a regional special district. And while we understand the city ultimately
time is
needs to
up.
act with its best interest in mind,
Let him finish.
Finish your comments, Mr. Tyson. Okay, I guess that's it. There any other public speakers, Madam Clerk?
We have one more for items not on the agenda.
Okay,
Before we take that, we'll take a vote on this matter. What is the pleasure of
I'm
the?
sorry, Mr. Perello, I was, the system had muted me. Could I finish my comments?
Yes. Go ahead.
The system had muted me. I apologize. And I only have seconds left. So you will notice that several of the main points of the letter seem to have a regional tone to them. VRSD is, after all, a regional special district. And while we understand the city ultimately needs to act with its best interest in mind, we believe that regional interests and city interests are not mutually exclusive and, in fact, are mostly aligned. We respectfully request the committee to consider the points in VRSD's letter and request additional research on these points from staff. I and other representatives of VRSD are present to answer questions. Obviously, that won't happen tonight, but we'll be back when the item is re-agendized. Again, I thank you for the time, and this concludes my remarks.
Thank you. Are there any other public speakers aside from the one that wants to speak on items not on the agenda? Madam Clerk?
No, Chair.
Okay. We have a recommendation to continue this item. What is the pleasure of the council, of the committee?
But my motion is to continue.
Okay,
Chair.
we have a second? We
Second.
did have a second. Okay, roll call, please, Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Perrello,
Yes.
Councilmember Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Zaragoza.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 3, under reports. Public Works Department. Subject, Solanas LLC purchase order for supply and delivery of Octic polymer. We could have the staff read the recommendation. And again, there is a presentation if you wanted to see it because of the direction of the voters. It's pre-recorded, but it is not at the direction of the voters shown during the council meeting.
Good evening, committee chair and committee members. My name is Jan Hauser. I am the wastewater division manager. I will read the recommendation that the Public Works and Transportation Committee recommend that the city council approve and authorize the mayor to execute purchase order with Solanas LLC in the amount not to exceed $450,000 for a 3-year term ending June 30th, 2024. For supply and delivery of anionic polymer to the Oxnard wastewater treatment plant.
Thank you. Are there any public speakers on this matter, Madam Clerk?
No speakers for this item.
And I missed the public speaker. We'll get her after this item is done. Any questions by the board member, committee members?
None at all. This item is probably needed as more of a health and safety issue, if I'm concerned. Is that correct?
We need a motion or direction from the committee. If not,
Mr.
I'll
Chair?
move the recommended action.
Second.
After you vote, I have a follow-up question. It's not relevant to the vote, though.
All right. I made a motion to accept this. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Perrello,
Yes.
Councilmember Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Zaragoza,
Yes.
motion passes 3-0.
Okay, Mr. Hauser had a comment and appreciate the work you're doing with the sewer department, Mr. Hauser. What is your comment?
Thank you. I think that was City Manager Nguyen. Is that right?
Yes, it's a question for you. Describe an anionic polymer.
So polymers are proprietary chemicals that actually act as flocculants. So they optimize or help the settling process, which will remove considerably more amounts of total suspended solids and BOD or biochemical oxygen demand prior to going to the secondary treatment system. So we need to do this. We need to improve the settling in the primary treatment system in order to remove the biotowers, which we've been working at removing for years out of the treatment system.
Thank you, Mr. Hauser. And there's our continuing education for the day. Thank you.
Yeah, to try to be non-technical. But
And the biotowers for the public are the round, circular, tall buildings that are there. And
that's correct.
you guys are making tremendous progress. Thank you. With that, we have a member of the public who we overshot public comment, not on the agenda.
Ms. Brown, are you there?
And can you please advise her to make sure she shuts the sound off in her TV?
Ms. Brown, my apologies. You have 3 minutes for public comment. Thank you.
Okay. This topic relates to our transportation problem. This is Oxnard Boulevard in the downtown area from Woolley Road to the freeway. The problem is we still have all these big, huge trucks coming up and down and insist upon coming into town to come up and down Oxnard Boulevard. There's no reason why they have to come on Oxnard Boulevard or leave on Oxnard Boulevard. They're only on Oxnard Boulevard because they don't know any better. And they're not paying attention to all of the arrow signs that have been changed that try to direct them in the opposite direction to go east to preferably Rice Avenue or Del Norte to go north to the freeway. Instead, they want to come up Oxnard Boulevard in all the middle of the traffic, and some of them like to make sharp turns, and they are not used to their equipment that they're driving, and so they knock over the lights that direct the pedestrians and things like that, and the curbs cuts at around the at the corners at 7th Street and at mostly at 7th Street and then at 5th Street as well. And we don't need them there, and they don't need to be there. It's that they don't know any better. Now, years ago, I had to have a meeting with the owners of the properties of the businesses that are on the east side of Oxnard Boulevard and north of Woolley Road. And I had a meeting with them about parking on Factory Lane, which butts right up against the mobile home park that's between Oxnard Boulevard and Factory Lane, and they would keep their coolers on their trucks trailers running all night and making a terrible noise while people just across the fence were trying to sleep in their bedrooms because the
30
bedroom
seconds.
parts of the house of the mobile homes is usually at the back. And so that was a real problem, and they agreed, and so they stopped parking there. And every once in a while, there's one or two trucks that park there, but not very many and not very often because they all know better. And we need to have another meeting with the same organizations, the same group of business owners over there, that the trucks are not to go on
Your time
Oxnard
is
Boulevard. They are to go in and out on.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Brown. Your passion is very well understood, and appreciate. You're one of the hardest working women in this city. You attend all these public events and you donate your time tremendously. It's appreciated by this councilman, and I'm sure I can speak for the whole council.
And the staff.
The next item is items on future
Chair?
agenda. Do we have any suggestions for items on future agendas?
Mr. Chair, if I can just chime in, Ms. Brown's comments are also appreciated greatly by the staff, and we'll get an update to her as soon as we can.
Thank you, City
Thank you.
Manager. Any suggestions for items on future agendas? Hearing none. I'd like to repeat. We now have a little bit of a different committee structure. I had asked if we can we have newly elected officials in the state representing parts of our areas. We need to find out what we can do to get the corridor from Interstate 5 to Oxnard and the rail tracks fixed, that we can increase as the public speaker has mentioned, fewer trucks on the road. We can use the rail to get it to Interstate 5, Castaic Junction, which was washed out by the Santa Clara River, whatever we have to do. In the past, Councilman McDonald and currently works with the transportation and stuff. But if this committee can do something and at the good graces and urgency of the staff that we have and our lobbyists, rattle some cages to get something done. It involves an environmental cleanup of fewer diesel fumes on the street, and it involves more jobs, both of which Oxnard can use. I want to thank the council for the committee for this evening, and unless there is a comment by the attorney or the management, this meeting is adjourned. Any comments?
No,
Okay,
sir.
thank you. And please, we don't need to lose any more members of our staff, the general public, or whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, this is no joke. This health issue is no joke. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair,
Meeting is
for
adjourned.
saying that. Thank you for saying that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And thank you, Committee Member Lopez. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.